into the Saturday Slam and Jam here on the Athletic NBA Daily. On today's show, we're recapping the NBA draft. We're going to do draft awards. We're going to play a little draft game. And we're doing some trivia. With me, as always, is my good friend Alex Speers. Alex, what's up?
Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Alex. And also with us, the only person that I would want to recap the NBA draft with, Sam Vecenie of The Athletic and the Game Theory podcast. Sam, how's it going?
Well, I have live streamed for 7 hours now over the course of the last 2 days, gone through all 59 picks.
59, yep.
That have been made. And, you know, we only had one that was off my top 100 board. Shout out the Indiana Pacers. I'll try again next year with Talon Peter.
So heading into the draft, many were expecting that Ace Bailey was going to fall to one of his desired destinations from the 6 to 8 range. Instead, it was the Utah Jazz that grabbed him at 5. There's been a lot of discussion this draft cycle about what situations may be best for Ace's continued development. What do you think about him ending up in Utah?
So I love it, first and foremost. I thought that for Ace Bailey, this was probably the best spot that he could have gone to. Now, like, does that mean that I would have taken him if I was Utah? I probably would have taken Trey Johnson because I prefer Trey Johnson, but I think it's a completely reasonable pick. And I actually applaud Utah for doing this and saying, yeah, dude, you don't want to come here? Too bad. Try it. Try and sit out for a year and see what you're going to, are you really going to sit out for a year and not make $10 million? Go for it. You're not. Ace Bailey is a prospect that people are very interested in and really think has a high ceiling if everything breaks right with his development, but they're not so high on him that if he was to enter next year's draft, he would go any higher next year and he'd just be missing out on a year of money. So I loved Utah calling the bluff. I thought it was the right call, assuming it was a bluff in some way, shape, or form. In terms of why I like the Utah landing spot, I think the biggest thing for Ace Bailey early on in his career is he needs somewhere that has a bevy of ball handlers to be able to not make him as reliant on creating pull-up jumpers all of the time. And with Utah, you can talk about the efficacy and the actual talent of Keontae George and Isaiah Collier and some of these other guys that they have, but they are definitely guys who can handle the ball and who can create shots on their own in some respect. And Collier is actually a pretty good passer as well. So I like the idea, and in addition to if they keep Colin Sexton, if they keep Jordan Clarkson, whatever that looks like too. But I like the idea of him going somewhere like Utah versus somewhere like Brooklyn. I actually really like both of these coaches in Jordy Fernandez and Will Hardy. I think they're both excellent offensive minds. And I think they run their schemes in the way that modern basketball should be run. But the Nets don't really have a ball handler and a creator for Ace. If he would have gone to Brooklyn, my worry would be that we'd see a lot of the grab the ball, jab step, pump fake, jab step, pull up, step back, right hand dribble, crossover, step back, all of that stuff that we saw at Rutgers that really bogged down their offense this year. I think with Utah, Will Hardy's going to make him run off of actions and is going to get him open. And hopefully he's going to have him get open threes at the end of the day. So I really, really like him landing in Utah. And additionally, they have a ready-made scorer in Lauri Markkanen there next to him. They have defensive infrastructure with Walker Kessler there, assuming that they keep Kessler this summer, as opposed to trading him before his extension eligibility. I think that this is about as perfect a landing spot for Ace Bailey as Ace Bailey could have hoped for.
You mentioned Trey Johnson, who ends up going to the Wizards at 6. Sam, you revealed in your winners and losers article that you tried to make a last-minute adjustment on your draft board before the draft guide was published to move Trey to number 3 on your big board. What was it about Trey and his game that made you just keep pushing him up your board?
I believe in the worker. I believe in the human. I believe in him just becoming the best version of whatever his best version is. He is not just like normal hard worker. He is somebody who goes so far above and beyond what it takes. And like, I've seen it in person. Like, I've gone to see him work out. It's different than when you see other guys work out. He is going hard from the moment he steps on the court. He has a real intensity and a real singular mindedness about his approach to working that is like reminiscent. I mean, I'll speak to you guys, right? Like Oklahoma City, obviously, like it's reminiscent to Jalen Williams, right? In terms of like that level of work ethic. So he doesn't have the frame Jalen Williams does. He doesn't have the super long arms. He doesn't have, you know, the power, the physicality that J-Dub did. I don't know if he has quite the I don't know that he has quite the ceiling that J-Dub does necessarily, but I think that whatever version of is the best of Trey Johnson's game, he will reach that version. And he's a genuinely elite shooter. Like he's going to step in and be a monster movement shooter from day one in the NBA. 40% 3-point shooter, drill shots off of screens, has no conscience whatsoever. I think he got better as a passer as the year went on. I think he started to understand the way that defenses played him as the year went on. And he wants to learn. He wants to be great is the other thing. So I am a believer in Trey Johnson for sure. And, you know, I still love Khan. You know, I still love VJ. I still, you know, have reservations about Ace, but acknowledge the upside to be clear. I just think that I buy into Trey a little bit more than what some people do.
The New Orleans Pelicans had some pretty eventful things happen in this draft, including at 7, they drafted Jeremiah Fears from OU. They traded up to 13, including an unprotected 2026 first to Atlanta in the process to draft Derik Queen. First, how concerned are you about the process of this Dumars, Troy Weaver front office? And then I'd like to know more about the fit of Fears and Queen. But first, let's talk about the front office.
I'm sorry. So can I reverse that, Andrew? Like I do want to talk about the positives at the front. About
let's talk.
Fears
Yeah,
and Queen.
let's spin positive. Let's talk about Fears and Queen, and then we can do the other part.
Because I really don't, I want people to know up front before I start talking about the catastrophe that I think this was. This has nothing to do with Jeremiah Fears or Derik Queen.
Sure. Yes.
I had Jeremiah Fears at number 18 on my board. They took him at 7. I don't really care. Like I completely acknowledge the fact that Jeremiah Fears has significant upside. It's just not my kind of player, right? Like I don't love these smaller guards where they have a very narrow pathway to success, in my opinion. They basically have to be all-star caliber players, or it's hard to fit them on like a winning team at the highest level, basically, right? I'm still, like I've said this previously, I love Darius Garland as a player. Darius Garland is a rightful all-star. He is amazing. I still worry about him at the highest levels of NBA competition, because of the size, the defensive ability, the way that he can be attacked. And I think Cleveland, obviously, you know, with him next to Donovan Mitchell, another smaller player, even though Donovan had a really good defensive year this year, it's not idealized for him, but like that's the level that you have to ascend to in order for me to even think that like drafting a smaller player like this is worthwhile at the end of the day. And that's my personal evaluation, you know, belief. There are plenty of them, other ones out there. And Jeremiah Fears is genuinely special with the ball in his hand. Like his speed, his creativity with the ball, his innate understanding of how to get paint touches in ball screens, his flexibility with the ball in his hands to be able to navigate defenders' bodies. I think he is a unbelievable ball handler who can really separate from his man, who can get to his spots regularly. So even though I had Fears at 18 and, you know, they took him at 7, it doesn't bother me. I understand what they're going for. And when I do like draft stuff, I'm very willing to acknowledge that just other people have opinions, right? And other people evaluate things differently. This is a art. This is not a science. Like I will hear out so many different ways on what you think of players. And that goes the same for Derik Queen, right? I actually really like Derik Queen as a player. I think he's an ass kicker. I think that He's one of 6 players in the last 45 years of college basketball as a freshman to step in and average 15, 8, 1.9 assists and shoot 50% from the field.
Yeah.
He is going to be
wild.
able to be impactful on the box score from day one in the NBA. He is a great grab and go big. He's tough. He's a hooper. Like the pre-draft process, I think just didn't treat Derik Queen well because he is somebody that isn't meant for the pre-draft process, kind of. He's not the super athlete. He's not his athletic testing is never going to be good, but you watch him play basketball and you'll be like, that dude can go. You know what I mean? So all of this, to be clear, has nothing to do with the players involved. And it's fine that they took those players where they took them. This was the fucking craziest trade I've ever seen that didn't involve a superstar. Guys, I had an assistant GM text me early this morning when we're recording this. This is the worst non-superstar trade in a decade. This is the worst trade non-Luka division that we've seen in at least a decade.
Yeah.
I've had over a dozen people from front offices hit me and wonder what in the world these people are doing in New Orleans. I had 2 different teams tell me that their models right now currently have New Orleans in the bottom 5 of the NBA right now for next season's projections.
Yeah.
So we haven't said what the deal is yet. The deal is that in order to move up 10 spots from number 23 to number 13, the New Orleans Pelicans gave the Atlanta Hawks their unprotected 2026 first round pick. But it's not just their unprotected 2026 first round pick. It's the best of their first round pick and Milwaukee's first round pick, which means that this is a pick that has, look, it's not as valuable as Brooklyn's pick next year. It's not as valuable as probably Washington's pick next year. Certainly not Washington's pick next year because they have Zion Williamson on their team, right? It's not as valuable as some of those teams, but it's in the next tier down from that. And what this deal fails to recognize, it just has a blatant misunderstanding of what their place is in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it has and from a team building perspective, these 2 things are connected, right? The Pelicans have the worst defense in the league right now. I feel comfortable saying that. They have less defensive talent on their team than any team in the league, despite the fact that they have Herb Jones, who is one of the 3 or 4 best perimeter defenders in the NBA.
Yeah.
Look across their roster. Their backcourt next year has a chance to be Jeremiah Fears and Jordan Poole. I thought Jeremiah Fears was the worst first rounder defensively this year. He's size issues. He's very skinny. His engagement levels are not very good. He has no idea where he's supposed to be on the back line defensively. He's just extremely young, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I need to say more about Jordan Poole defensively, right? We've just seen that for close to a decade now.
We're good.
Zion Williamson is not a good defender, point blank. We can say that. We've seen this for 8 years now, 7 years. And then their big, Yves Missy, is also not a great defender. Mm-hmm. He's young. He has a chance to become a good defender. But we saw this year. It was a real struggle, right? And then on top of it, Derik Queen is a bad defender. They have no defensive infrastructure to rely on whatsoever. They're going to have to outscore teams 135 to 130 every night to have a chance, despite the fact that they really only have 2 shooters on the team in Jordan Poole and Trey Murphy. You look at their other guys, Derik Queen's not a shooter from day one. Zion Williamson, not a shooter. Jeremiah Fears hit 28% from 3 this year. Herb Jones, reluctant shooter, makes them at times whenever he's open. So you're an offensive team in a math-driven NBA that doesn't really make threes all that much, except for Poole and Murphy, who are genuinely great shooters, 2 of the best shooters in the league probably. But that's not enough in today's NBA. Mm-mm. And you have the worst defensive infrastructure in the league. And you traded away your 2026 first round pick. And by the way, don't rule out the fact, like, what if Giannis misses 35 games next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the 5 worst teams in the East, right? If Giannis misses 35 games, like forget like catastrophic injury. I just mean like if he's out for 2 months injury, right? This is like malpractice. And the problem I have with it is it follows the exact blueprint that Troy Weaver did when he got the Detroit job. And I get it that like Joe Dumars is the head front office executive, but like Troy Weaver's fingerprints are all over this. Like you can look at the fact that they went out and got Sadiq Bey. Troy Weaver's a DMV guy. So like most of his moves over his past, like he really seems to love DMV guys. Sadiq Bey, DMV guy, who he drafted in 2020. Jordan Poole played for the Washington Wizards last year, where Troy Weaver was as a senior advisor last year. Derik Queen from Baltimore. They just signed Hunter Dickinson to a 2-way. Like, it's crazy that we're here and doing these things, and nobody's stopping it. Like,
nobody's stopping it.
So like his fingerprints are all over this. And it's just like the exact parallel between the way he did this when he took over the Detroit job, right?
Yeah.
So selected a young point guard at number 7 overall in Killian Hayes. I think Jeremiah Fears is better than Killian Hayes. I don't want to like put that in the ether necessarily that he's that, but number 7 overall point guard, right? Go get your point guard. Traded a 1st round pick for a big man in the draft in the middle of the draft. In an undersized big man nonetheless, and Derik Queen and Isaiah Stewart, right? Traded for a volume scorer in Jeremy Grant, who wasn't quite a volume scorer at the time, but very clearly at that point wanted to become a volume scorer based off of everything that he had said, like publicly at that point, that he wanted a bigger role.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do? Trade for Jordan Poole this time. By the way, Jeremy Grant, also from the Maryland area. Like, it's bonkers. It worked so well the first time that they won 74 of 318 games when Troy Weaver was in charge. And in the 4th year, they had a 28-game losing streak. And by the way, Joe Dumars in his final 5 years with the Pistons went 140 and 253. Like, I don't enjoy doing this, right? Like, I don't come on this show just to be like, oh, this is great. I'm just going to go shit on the Pelicans for a minute, right? Great. Awesome. This isn't fun. Like, it's nice to talk about good basketball, but what are we doing?
Sam, do you know, are there any rumors about whether that offer was made to any of the other teams? Because it seems like such a no-brainer offer that anyone would accept. Like, how were they not able to get higher than 13?
Yeah. I was told it was made to other teams. I don't feel great sharing beyond that. Okay. I was told it was made to other teams.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
Insane. But like, so I thought we were at a point in the NBA, I guess, where, and I wrote this, like, I'm just going to say it again. Like, I thought we were at a point in the NBA where like sharp analytical people, and I don't mean that like analytics in terms of numbers. I just mean like thinking about things with an analytical mindset and like using logic and like, being like, strategic about the way you operate. Right. Mm-hmm. I thought we were kind of past the point where we hired just fuck it, let's go. Mm-hmm. Fuck it, we ball GMs. That's what this feels like, right?
It's a gift to podcasters, honestly. I think it's a nice gift to the podcasting community to bring these guys back, and not only bring these guys back, but bring them back together on the same team. It's great. It's great.
The number of teams I talked to that told me like they were trying to target the Pelicans for like a trade because they knew that something stupid like this was coming. Very high. Very high.
Okay, so moving on from the Pelicans, another team that had a big surprise was the Brooklyn Nets, who at number 8 drafted Yegor Demin. They also set an NBA draft record by using all 5 of their first-round picks. What do you think about the players they drafted as a collective? Like, is there a through line here? Like, do these players make sense in combination with each other?
Yeah. So again, I'm very open to a lot of different evaluations. Like when I do draft grades, like I don't think about, I think about where I had them to some extent. But for instance, I had Yegor 26, I had Nolan Traore 22, and I had Drake Powell at 34, right? Those are my first 3. Those are their first 3 picks.
Yeah.
But like I'm way lower on Jaeger than what the consensus is, right? Like the consensus for those 3 picks was 14, 22, and 30 going into the draft, right? So I'm like very open to the fact that like I might just be way low on Jaeger. I might be a little bit low on Drake Powell, right? It's fine. What I couldn't understand is kind of exactly what you said, Alex, where I don't get why they did 3 lead guards, because I think that I'm more open to 3 lead guards if 1 or 2 of them can shoot. Like if you feel like they can shoot, they might be able to play together, but like I don't think any of these guys can really play together effectively on an NBA court right now is my problem. Like Nolan Traore, like his main struggle right now is like, how does he score? Like he doesn't shoot it super well. Yegor, his main problem is doesn't shoot it super well. How does he score?
Yeah.
Ben Suraf's main issue is, he can actually score as a pull-up shooter in the mid-range, but, not a 3-point shooter. Doesn't really have like a great, catch and shoot game because he has like kind of a funky mechanic that people are worried about extending beyond the NBA line a little bit. So I just like don't know how those 3 play together. And then Drake Powell, right? Like to speak to just offensive viability, there's been no player drafted, I think, since like 2010 that has had the usage rate that Drake Powell has. Like just point blank. I mean, just looking through the draft guide here, right? So I'll pull up the exact numbers while we're talking, but he had a 13.8 usage rating this year, which was the lowest of North Carolina's 9 rotation players. No wing has been drafted this low, with that low of a usage rate in his pre-draft season since they've been tracking it since 2008. The wings that had a usage rate below 17 that were drafted. So like actually a pretty big jump here from where Powell was. John Diebler, AJ Griffin, Dalen Terry, Johnny Furphy, Andre Jackson, Caleb Houston, DeAndre Liggins, Ryan Dunn, Josh Primo, Chris Livingston. There's like half of a hit in there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know about that one. And I love Danny Wolf. Like, I won't say anything negative about the Wolf pick. I actually genuinely love that pick for them. But yeah, it's tough. It's an interesting decision to draft all of those like non-scorers or like questionable scorers basically in the NBA draft.
The prize of the Kevin Durant trade for the Suns was the 10th pick in this year's draft, which they used to draft Kama Malawach. They also traded for Mark Williams, almost it feels like at the exact same time, which significantly bolsters the center position for them, which was a very obvious weakness. How impactful do you think Malawach can be in year 1? And does the Suns' new center rotation change your outlook on the team next season in any way whatsoever?
It helps. Yeah. I think they're going to be like fairly competent, like with their bigs now, which is good. I'm a little bit lower on Mark Williams than I think some people are. I really have not liked his defensive play, but get him out of Charlotte, get him into a situation where guys like fight over screens and, really at least give like significant effort. I think he might be a little bit better in Phoenix for sure. He's young. Like he continues to miss time due to the injuries, obviously why he's not on the Lakers right now. So like, maybe with further development, I think there's a chance. I didn't love the acquisition of Mark Williams just because I thought that these guys where you don't have enough information on them is what worries me a little bit. before you have to like decide to give them money, right? The Suns gave up 2 first-round picks in order to potentially have to give Mark Williams like a fairly sizable extension before knowing if Mark Williams is, a real starter, frankly. Like defensively, like he is not a starter right now based off of the New Orleans tape or the Charlotte tape. I'm sorry. He is somebody who can maybe get there, I think. Like, in fact, like I think he definitely can get there. He's enormous length, obviously can finish at the rim, really good rebounder, but the defense is going to take real improvement. And then you take Malawach, where it's a very similar player. Like genuinely, it's just a better defensive version. I think that Malawach is like a very impactful positional defender right now. Great size, but again, he is like a drop defender. I think that like some of the switchability stuff has gotten a little bit overblown with him. He moves well where if he gets caught on an island with another guard, he's not going to like get tanked or anything, but he's not like a guy that you're going to play anything but drop with. I don't think. You might be able to play at the level occasionally, but I think you're probably just mostly playing drop with Malawach as it is. So you kind of, got 2 very similar players here. It feels like a strange use and allocation of the assets that we already know are like fairly limited for them as it is. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused, I think, by the overall process here, while also acknowledging that like this is a better team for next year for sure. Yeah. They're going to be younger, which worries me, but I don't even know if they're a better team for next year. They're certainly a little bit deeper than they were, when they started the week with just Kevin Durant on the roster.
So the most shocking pick of the first round had to be from the Portland Trailblazers, who moved back from 11 to 16. They picked up an extra future first, and they drafted Hansen Yang, a 7'2" big man from China who most had mocked in the second round. When a team reaches for a player like this, negative reactions are inevitable. I know you didn't like the pick, but if you were putting yourself in the position of the Blazers, what is the pitch for this working out, and what could this working out look like?
This working out would look like him getting way stronger, playing with way more bend than he does because he has like a very high center of gravity. And I think that he plays very upright right now. So I think he would really need to get way stronger and then be able to play with bend and like be able to get leverage and like physicality against players that will be guarding him in the high post, in the post, at the top of the key, right? Because a lot has justifiably been made of his skill set, right? Where he is a genuinely terrific passer for a big man and has great touch around the basket too. But what worries me and why I had a second round grade on him is that he doesn't play with a lot of force right now. And the players in this archetype that tend to work, the Jokic's, the Vucevic's, the Sabonis's, even like Karl Towns, right? Like he fits this. They tend to be ass kickers. Like they tend to really like be able to put their shoulder into people and move them backward. And he doesn't really have the ability to do that. And then he's also just not as explosive as they are with his movements. So yeah, I'm just a little bit more worried about him than what the Blazers seem to be. But the way that it works is if he plays with more bend and physicality, I think, and gets stronger and like way more physical.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. One of the biggest fallers of the night was Kasparas Jakučionis, who was mocked in the lottery for most of this cycle. He was 7th on your board, but ended up falling to Miami at 20. How big of a steal is this for the Heat? And how do you see him fitting in the Heat system?
Yeah, I love it. I love Jakučionis. I love the player. I think that because he played so much on the ball at Illinois this year, I think that like the versatility of his game kind of got underrated, where it's a perfect fit in Miami. Spo will know exactly how to use him. He plays both on and off the ball at a really high level. And you'll be able to play him next to Hero offensively. You'll be able to play him next to like a variety of lead guards, I think, and be able to make it work. And oh, by the way, he can also act as your backup lead guard, I think, and be able to run the show for second units, particularly. I don't love him against like starters necessarily, but I think that, as a starter with the first unit, like kind of like the role Nembhard plays offensively for the Pacers, right? Starter with the first unit, secondary ball handler, transition creator, and then, comes in, maybe leaves the game early, then comes in at the end of the first quarter, or just plays the entire first quarter, and then you bring back your starting ball handler, right? Like, there's just a lot of ways you can make him work. He has a lot of outs as a player, is kind of my thing. He could be like a real, pick and roll decision maker, I think. He's an unbelievable passer, sees the court incredibly well, great decision maker, real shooter, I think, in my opinion. Or he can be a secondary ball handler who can, attack closeouts at a really high level when you have to close out on him heavily, or he can cut to the rim and force help that way and then make a super high level pass, right? These guys just have a lot of outs, I think, on offense. Defensively, it's going to take some time. Like, he needs to improve a lot defensively. But offensively, I'm huge on, dribble, pass, shoot guards with real like positional size, right? And he definitely has like all of those attributes.
So we mentioned the debut of the Joe Dumars front office. We also had the debut of the new Sacramento Kings front office, featuring Scott Perry, who traded into the first round, getting the 24th pick from the Thunder and selecting Nick Clifford. What did you think about that move for the Kings?
Sure. Solid move. It's very unsexy to me. Just like very, very unsexy to me. I have no problem with it. He is a, really solid player. I keep saying solid. It's just what it feels like to me. He can pass. He can defend at a solid level. The key is going to be the shooting. If he shoots it, he's going to be a really good rotation player. If he doesn't shoot it, he's probably like a end of the bench kind of guy. But if he shoots it, then, this is a rotation player in a position of need, in a role of need, because he is a good defender for the Kings in a way that I think that they certainly can value. And, I have no problem with them valuing this. And I like the Maxime Reynaud pick in the second round as well. So, I think the Kings did well here. I've no, it's a solid like B draft to me. I think that they did a solid job.
All right. Well, shout out to the Kings. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to play a game, and then we're going to do some trivia. And we're back after that quick break. Alex, you're going to intro a little game that you have drummed up for us.
Yes, Sam, this is a game you've played previously. We've made you play it. So basically, I went back through all of the drafts of like the last 15 years, just looking at the lottery, seeing how many guys turned into some good, how many guys turned into some bad. And on average, in these lotteries, there's usually 4 guys who end up being like fringe all-star, think like an Aaron Gordon, all the way to an all-NBA player. There's 3 guys who end up being like key starters or bench players, 4 who end up becoming just role players, and then 3 who are like fringe NBA or out of the league. And so what I'm going to ask you to do, Sam, is to slot these guys in. Now, just for fun, as a warm-up exercise, we're going to do last year's lottery first. So the 2024.
Can we do this slightly differently?
Yeah,
where I have to find between the 2 classes combined. Can we combine the 2 classes?
Okay.
Instead of doing it
okay. Yeah, so we'll have like 8 All-NBA to fringe All-Stars. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, let's do that.
I think that'll be like more fun because it like kind of gives an idea of like how strong this draft is compared to last draft.
Yeah, I like that.
I like it. Okay.
So I will take Cooper Flagg for the first category. Cooper Flagg.
Great pick.
Dylan Harper.
Great pick.
I will take Trey Johnson.
5 more names needed for fringe all-star to all NBA.
Okay. So here's my next just like question here, right?
Yeah.
where would we slot like Desmond Bain in this? Would we say he's a key starter?
That'd be fringe all-star, I would say.
Okay, I'll throw Khan into the all NBA to like fringe all-star group then. Because that's like my kind of name for Khan, is like, it reminds me of like a very Desmond Bain-y kind of player.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be great for the Hornets.
That would be great. Now, I notice you haven't said any names from 2024 yet.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, there's not a lot of green in here yet.
I will throw Ace into this group.
Okay. 3 names remaining.
I will throw Steph Castle in.
All right. Our first 2024.
I will throw... I'm trying to decide how adventurous I want to get here.
I would say very adventurous. Enjoy yourself.
Would encourage very adventurous.
Enjoy yourself. I will go. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the 2 stupid picks, and that will make me look stupid. I am going to take Reed Shepherd.
Okay.
We're still in. We're still in on the Reed Shepherd experience. Okay.
I'm still in on Reed.
And your final pick?
And then I am going to... I know that Ricochet is the right pick here, to be clear. I just want everyone to know. I understand that Ricochet is the right pick here.
What is about to happen?
I'm going to take Cedric Coward.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
So you were a fan of that trade for the Grizzlies then?
I was.
Big fan.
Yeah, I am too. So to recap,
that's
from
8, right?
Yeah. From the last 2 drafts, the 8 guys that are all-star to fringe all-star: Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Trey Johnson, Con Knippel, Ace Bailey, Stephon Castle, Reed Shepherd, Cedric Coward. Those are the 8.
And to be clear, Hawks fans, do not freak out. I understand that Ricochet is the correct pick here. I am fully cognizant of it. I get it. I wanted to have some fun and try to predict something a little bit more aggressive.
So the next category is key starter or bench player.
Definitely Ricochet and VJ.
So what kept you from putting VJ in that first category?
So I think VJ is going to be really good. I think VJ is going to be like an awesome, like I've been calling him like Gary Harris with a jetpack, right? It's kind of my idea.
Gary Harris.
That's illegal.
With a jetpack.
And like that's like pretty close to like fringe all-star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like quite, you know what?
I just love the use of Gary Harris. That's all. I don't know.
So the reason I use Gary Harris is like very similar size, like somewhat skinny a little bit, more of a shooter than what Kaysen is off the catch, I think, but like not really the pull-up shooter that Kaysen is, frankly. This is why I like, Kaysen's another name that's come up here.
Okay. Yeah.
Like really going to help you win basketball games, VJ, at a high level, much like Gary Harris helps teams win basketball games. Honestly, I should switch. We're going to do this. We're going to switch VJ and Cedric Coward. This is the correct decision.
Okay.
So what do you want to say to Hawks fans now?
Still apologies. I honestly I do think that like Ricochet is going to be very good. Like I really like Zach. Okay, so I have 4 more here, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Sar, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I will go Klingon.
Yeah, key starters here: Sar and Klingon at the big positions. That makes sense.
I will go Common.
Okay.
I just think Common is like very likely to be good.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
my issue with Common is more like the upside of Common, but I think Common's definitely going to be like a good starter. Oh man, I kind of want to. I'm gonna go. Oh man, this is kind of gross, actually. This is extremely gross. I'm going to go Modest here. I actually really liked what we saw from Modest this year.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was gonna. That's probably where I would go.
I would also like to trade one. I will add 2 out of the league players for one fringe or one like key starter if I can.
Okay, so
or whatever
we
it
want
is.
to. So we want to go up to like 8 out of the league, and then 8.
Sure.
Is that what you want to do? Okay.
Yeah. I would like a couple of extra like good players. Really, I only want one. For
you only want. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do 7 and 7. Okay, so who is your last key starter bench player?
Okay. It's going to be Murray Boyles.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So key starters, bench players, to just recap real quick. Zachary Risache, Cedric Coward, Alex Sarr, Donovan Clingan, Kama Malawach, Modest Bazelis, Colin Murray Boyles are the key starters or bench players for a team.
Okay, and then
Sam,
role players.
I almost feel like you have some ideas for fringe out of the league. Would you like to go there first? Would that be easier?
We'll go to role player next. We'll go Holland.
Okay, yeah, Ron Holland.
We will go Edie for sure.
Zach Edey, role
And
player.
I do feel a little bit bad about putting Edie in this spot. I think Edie's quite good. I will go Carter Bryant here for sure.
Oops.
No! I will go Bub Carrington here for sure. I will go.
Did any
Devin
part of you want to
Carter.
put Bub as a key starter? Was there any part of you?
I think he's going to be a starter. Yeah, I like Bub.
Okay.
Bub was one
I'm
of my
just
guys
realizing
last
these
year.
numbers aren't going to add up, but that's fine.
No, not at all. I will go Topic and Carter here.
Okay.
Okay. So
And what?
just to pause real quick, because this was really funny throughout the finals. There'd be people that would ask about Nikola Topic like before finals games. It was a very bizarre experience, and Mark Daigneault had to keep answering questions about him right before he coached an NBA finals game. Where are you at with Topic and like what he could actually do for the Thunder next season?
I would like to know more about where the shooting is. Look, like Topic is probably either going to be a role player or he's going to be like an all NBA fringe all-star, right? Like that's, to me, that's like kind of like there isn't like a starter, outcome there for me.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And I think there's a real case to have him as like your fringe all-star. He's a great pick and roll playmaker, really understands how to make passing reads, really great out of ball screens in terms of making reads, super high level scorer at the basket as well. I just want to see a little bit more before I like go all in personally.
Yeah.
Especially coming
Sam,
off the injury.
I have made an adjustment. So you're only going to get one more role player, and then everyone else is going to be fringe or out of the league. So who's your final role player?
I will take. I'll take Derik Queen here.
Yeah. That's the right answer. That's the name I was staring at.
So Andrew, recap role player. Well,
the role players that Sam has taken from the 24 draft and the 25 draft: Ron Holland, Zach Edey, Carter Bryant, Bub Carrington, Nikola Topic, Devin Carter, and Derik Queen.
It's a fairly gross exercise that you make me do every year, and I do hate you for it, Alex. I just want to be clear about that.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty mean.
Yeah.
But
make me do this on the night where these kids are like celebrating getting drafted, and
that's right.
Yeah,
hopefully
this isn't
having
going to air
fun.
until Saturday, okay?
But you are a bad person, you know that, right? Like it's like the I think you should leave sketch. But I am a piece of shit though, right?
And like I said, there are, I forget which, it was the 2020, what was the Cade draft? Is that 2021?
21. Yes.
That draft, like, did not look like the averages. There were so many guys that I would consider like either key starters or bench or like fringe all-stars or all-star.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like it's Cade, it's Jalen Green, it's Mobley, it's Barnes, it's Suggs, it's Giddey. Kaminga, like, isn't fringe or out of the league even. Like, Franz Wagner. Davion Mitchell is not. Davion Mitchell is probably a role player, guys.
He's a role player.
Yeah. Like in Miami. But then we have Zaire Williams, James Bouknight, Josh Primo, Chris Duarte. So we got the 4.
That is true. We did get the 4.
We did get the 4.
We got the 4. We got them.
Okay,
it's so just that there are like 6. There are like 6 all NBA or fringe all stars in that group.
Yes. Oh, and just in case people don't know who the remaining names are, Tijon Saloon, Rob Dillingham, Cody Williams, for completing that exercise is to now play Andrew versus the Beat, our weekly trivia game where Andrew goes head-to-head against an NBA beat writer, or in this case, Sam Vecenie. And Sam, I've come up with 8 questions, all sort of related to this year's draft. So you're going to give me a number between 1 and 8. It will correspond to a question. If you get it right, you'll get at least 1 point. If you get it wrong, Andrew will have a chance to steal for 1. And we'll go back and forth until all the questions have been asked and answered. So to start us off, I just need a number between 1 and 8.
Number 7.
Question number 7. Ooh, fun one. Jace Richardson was drafted by the Magic at pick number 25. Richardson measured just over 6 feet tall at the combine. When was the last draft where a player under 6 feet tall was drafted in the first round? And you get to choose who answers first. So you're going to give me the draft year. You can make Andrew answer first, and then you could say more recent or older, or you could answer first. And if you get the year exactly correct, you would get a bonus point. And this is based on Basketball Reference heights.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Based on Basketball Reference heights, not based on... Oh, okay. That changes things a little bit.
Yeah. Because not everyone used to go to the combine, and so I didn't know if I'd be able to find everyone's height.
I'll let Andrew pick the year.
All right, Andrew.
This is very tricky. For second round guys, I can think of second round guys. I'm having trouble
that's not
thinking.
The question, Andrew.
I know.
A different game you're playing.
I know.
Different questions.
I don't know. 2013. I don't know.
All right. Andrew has set the bar at 2013. Sam, would you like to go more recent or older?
I swear I wasn't actually looking stuff up. I was just looking at my Twitter mentions. I will say more recent. That's a lot of drafts. That's 360 players. I'll take 300. I'll take the odds. I will say more recent.
So the player was Shane Larkin, and he was drafted in 2013, which means Andrew got it exactly correct. He gets a bonus point. Wow. What a start.
What a winner. Yes. My goodness.
And you control the board, Andrew.
Number 1.
Question number 1. On Wednesday, the Brooklyn Nets became the first NBA team ever to leave a draft with 5 first rounders. Who was the last team to leave a draft with 4 first rounders? You don't have to tell me who they were, but just they came away on that draft night, 4 first rounders all holding up their jerseys.
Is it the Wolves?
No. When were you thinking?
What was I thinking? I mean, like way back. Way back.
2009. So they actually did have 4 picks that year, but they traded Ty Lawson. I was looking it up. Yeah, because
that's right.
They did have 3. Sam, any guesses?
I believe I have the answer.
Okay.
I believe it's because we were talking about 2021 draft earlier. I believe it's the Houston Rockets in 2021 with Jalen Green, Alperin, Josh Christopher, and Usman Garuba.
That is correct. Yeah. That is correct. Wow. 2 steals in a row. And Sam, the board is yours.
Let's go number 6.
Question number 6. Phoenix drafted Common Malwatch with the 10th pick. He is the 5th 7-footer the Suns have drafted in the first round over the last 2 decades. Can you name the other 4? And you have to name all 4. So I'm not going to tell you if they're individually correct. You just have to name out 4 7-footers other than Malwatch that the Suns have drafted over the last 2 decades, which goes back to like 2006.
And this is via Basketball Reference.
This is by Basketball Reference. That is correct.
Okay. And it's all first round, not second.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, Poku is 7 foot on Basketball Reference. Is that true? Is he actually 7 foot in real life?
And to be clear, just one last time here.
Yes.
Is this originally drafted by, or is this they drafted them and kept them?
They drafted them and kept them. They played their rookie season in a Suns jersey.
I'm going to have to say this eventually. I think Dragan Bender is one of them, right?
Okay. I'll mark it down as your second name.
Well, wait, time out. I would like to know if they are right, so I stop guessing in case Andrew...
Oh, okay. Yes, you have been correct so far. Ayton and Bender. Did you see that Poku won the Serbian League?
I did.
Scored 11 points in the final.
It was delightful. Did he really? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Poke.
Shout out our guy. It's funny. So like my immediate, and this is not a guess. I know it's not right, but the thing that was going through my mind is that the pick that they used for Marquise Chris, they traded up from the pick that Sacramento had for Papagiannis. So I was immediately thinking of Papagiannis.
Yeah.
But that's not right, obviously.
How would you compare the Hansen Yang pick to the Papagiannis? Like, which was more surprising?
Hansen Yang is drastically better than Papagiannis.
Okay, so Papagiannis is still the GOAT when it comes to what just happened?
Still the GOAT.
I think that I probably had Papagiannis higher on my board at the time. But that's because I was stupid when I did this in like 2014 or 2015 and probably shouldn't have had the job. But
should have been working for the Kings.
The level to which I think he's better is pretty real.
Okay.
Like just more skilled, more gifted with the ball. Okay. 2006. Yeah, I don't have these, Alex. I'm going to call it.
Okay, Andrew. Can you name the other 2?
Alex Len.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one. It's the year before I started doing this.
Robin Lopez?
Rolo. That is correct.
Yes.
Well, that's way early.
Okay, Andrew, you have control of the board.
Number 2.
Question number 2. The Duke Blue Devils had 3 top 10 picks in this year's draft. The last time that happened was in 2019 when Duke had Zion, RJ, and Cam Reddish go in the top 10. Who was the only other school to ever have 3 players drafted in the top 10?
I'll just say Kentucky, but it feels wrong because it feels too easy.
It is wrong, Andrew.
Yeah.
Sam, do you know the answer?
So my first reaction was, is there someone I'm forgetting on the Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, UCLA team?
Oh, that's a good question to ask.
They were in the same draft, right? I believe they were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, that would be Collison, who went in the first, but not in the top 10.
Was Mba Mute in that draft class too?
Second round, though?
Yeah, second round.
That's a good class, though.
A really good class, yeah. Ohio State with Greg Oden and Mike Conley had 2, and then Daquan Cook went later in the first round as well.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a third in the top 10. Is it? Oh, I do know the answer to this. It's going to be Florida in the Al Horford, Noah, Corey Brewer year.
That is correct, Sam. Very nice. Very nice. Billy D, Andrew.
Shout out to Billy D.
All right. Wow, we've had so many steals in this game. I think it's been all steals.
I like that we've gotten all the questions right, just each other's questions.
Yeah. Sam, you have control of the board.
Number 3.
Question number 3. The Spurs drafted Dylan Harper at number 2. That is their 3rd consecutive top 4 pick. Who is the last team to have 3 consecutive top 4 picks before this version of the Spurs?
The Rockets, right, with Reed, Jabari, and Jalen?
That's correct, Sam. And Sam has pulled ahead 4-3. Oh, this is exciting. Andrew, 3 questions remain.
Number 4.
And they're all the dumbest ones. Question number 4. Cooper Flagg becomes the second active NBA player who was born in Maine. Who was the other?
Born in Maine.
Born in Maine. There's only one other active NBA player who was born in Maine.
Okay. I don't know. I'm passing. Can I not pass?
Oh my
Is that
gosh.
Okay,
I guess you can.
So there's like a method to my madness when I say this name. And I just want to be clear. Like, I don't think it's right. Donovan Clingan's mother played at Maine. He grew up in Connecticut. Is there a chance he was just born in Maine? Sure. Clingan.
No. Wrong.
No.
Correct answer. Kind of makes sense when you hear it. Duncan Robinson. Yeah, I could see him being born in Maine.
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson.
Makes sense. And that he has the face of a man who was born in Maine.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of makes sense.
Played Nepsac, went to Williams before he got to Michigan. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Okay. Sam, you have control of the board and a 1-point lead.
Number 8.
Question number 8.
This is always the stupidest question, and I always save it for last. So I'm for it.
There's actually a dumber one. This is
really?
This one's fun. This one's a good one. Thursday night was the second round of the 2025 NBA draft. Over the last 2 decades, so going back to 2006, 16 second rounders have gone on to make an all-star game, and we're going to name them all 16. So Sam's going to give me a name, then Andrew will give me a name, and we'll go back and forth. So you just have to give me a second rounder.
Real quick again.
2006 draft. So you just have to give me a second rounder who made an all-star game.
Chris Middleton.
Correct. Andrew.
Nikola Jokic.
Correct. Sam.
Isaiah Thomas.
Correct. Andrew.
Draymond.
Correct. Sam.
There are so many names and like so many things going through my mind. It's just the ADHD clutter thing where I have to like stop and think.
How far back did you say?
I said 2006.
Okay.
And there are 16?
Yeah.
That's a lot more than I expected, actually. DeAndre Jordan?
Did I say? Okay, we're actually going to go back. We're actually going back to 2001. Yes, DeAndre Jordan. I think I meant last 25 years. Maybe. I don't know what I meant, but the oldest name is from 2001.
Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, Jalen Brunson. Sam?
There are probably so many more like active ones that I can't think of in my head because my brain is just broken.
Wait, what year did you adjust to again, Al?
I adjusted to 2001. So we're doing 25 years. I think I did 25 years because Kyle Korver, yes. I think I did 25 years because there's one name that I really wanted to include. Andrew. Maybe that's a hint. I don't know.
Carlos Boozer?
Carlos Boozer, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a very good one.
Great one. Okay, back to Sam.
Oh, boy. Paul Millsap.
Yes, Paul Millsap.
Cut from the same cloth, those two. Marc Gasol.
Yeah, Marc Gasol.
That's a good
I feel
one.
like Paul Millsap used to be like the go-to for second rounders. Like, you can get Paul Millsap.
Yeah.
Okay, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names left.
Gerald Wallace?
Gerald Wallace. No. He was drafted. He was the 25th pick. 2001 draft. He did make one All-Star game as a Charlotte Bobcat. He was in a dunk contest. It was really bad. But wasn't taken in the second round. Andrew, did you have any other names locked and loaded?
Mo Williams?
Yeah, Mo Williams.
Oh, that's a very good answer. That's a very
Any others? Any others?
I think that's where I ran out.
So Hall of Famer Manu Ginobili. That was one.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that. I was worried that he was drafted too early.
Yeah, that's kind of what
he and like Michael Redd.
I got it. I couldn't remember what year Manu was drafted.
Red's definitely too early.
Yeah, Michael Red's way too. I think Michael Red's 2000.
You know what? Ginobili was actually drafted in 99, so he technically.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought too.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, whatever. Okay, other names.
I did.
Goran Dragic.
So 15.
Dragic. Oh, I forgot Dragic made an all-star team.
Rashard Lewis.
Rashard Lewis.
I always think he went late first. So yeah, okay.
Agent Zero. Gilbert Arenas.
What year was Rashard
That's
Lewis
the
drafted?
obvious one.
Andrew, it's not important. Okay, yeah, he was also drafted in 1998. Okay,
well,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not important. You got it wrong anyway. Okay,
no, I got it right. I thought.
No, you did. You did get a point. You did get a point.
Okay.
But,
to be clear, is Mo Williams? Mo Williams is not like too early, right?
Williams. He was picked 47th overall.
3. You're good.
In 03, yeah. Okay, so it went back. It was actually 30-ish years is what I meant. The final name, which is this is the reason I thought I was going back to 2001, Mehmet Okur made an all-star game.
God, I forgot that he made the all-star team, and I forgot that he was a person.
Okay, this is a really exciting thing because it's 4-4. There's one question left. It's by far the dumbest question I came up with. And I almost feel like the person who's going to be second, which would be Sam, has a better chance at it. How many first rounders taken in the 2025 NBA draft have 3-letter first names? And as a clarification, ace counts. Okay? So I'm giving you one of them, ace. And you just have to give me the number. So how many first rounders were drafted with 3-letter first names?
Ace, Trey, Asa, I think is 3 letters. Essengay, Noah Essengay.
Andrew, that is incorrect. Sam, you have a chance to win the week. You can tell me how many first rounders were drafted with 3-letter first names.
1 Cooper, 2 Dylan, 3 was so Khan is on here for sure at 4.
Dang it.
3 is VJ. 7 is Fears. 8 is Jaeger. 9 is who? 10 is Common. 9 is Murray Boyles. 13 is Derik Queen. 12 is who went 12? Noah Essengay. We have him. That's 5. 11 was Yang is 16.
I feel like Sam's doing his own trivia question. I want to jump in to answer the questions as he's going through.
I'm trying to go through all of the picks to get it right. Yeah, we'll go 5.
That is also incorrect.
Is it 6?
It was 6.
Yeah, you could. I felt like you were cutting me off a little bit. I was like, I'm gonna take a second. The other one's Saraf, I guess, is the thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Ben.
Ben.
I hadn't gotten to 26 yet. Is the issue?
Ben. Okay.
Shouts to Ben.
So you guys are tied 4-4.
Just like last time.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
Last time. I have to come up with a final question, and it's going to be an easy one. How many career points did Aleksej Pokusevski score in the NBA? Now, Sam, because you're the guest, you get to choose who answers first. You can make Andrew answer, and then you go higher or lower, or you can answer, and Andrew
I think there's a non-zero chance Andrew just has the answer in his head somewhere.
That I'm just visit his basketball reference page every day of my life. Yes.
Yeah, I am going to let him pick the number, though.
Okay, Andrew, this is career points for Aleksej Pokusevski. This does include his time with the Charlotte Hornets.
Okay.
If that matters.
Thanks for the clarification. I don't know, 1,000 points. Let's just set at the bar at 1,000.
All right.
That's a big number.
It's a big number. Sam, would you like to go higher or lower? You love Poku.
He did play a lot of minutes on those bad teams.
I'm
going to go under.
Yeah.
You're going to go under? Aleksej Pokusevski, champion of the Serbian League in the NBA, scored.
Champion of our hearts, by the way.
That's right.
Also that, 2 rings. he scored 1,253 points, which means
That's
Andrew
amazing.
wins the week.
Yes.
Good for you, Andrew.
God, that feels really good. It feels really good. Shout out to Poku.
To end on that question is the key, really.
Yeah,
Like, that's why
that's
it
pretty
feels
good.
so good.
Shout out to the time that I saw Poku at the airport and I sat and ate oatmeal with him. It was really, really fun. Hey,
It's honestly, to be clear, because you ended on that question, Alex, I'm not even upset that I lost.
Oh, that's great.
So
that's great.
I'll have to remember that
appreciate
for
you
other guests. I don't know if it'll work as well, but I'll try that for other
immensely
guests.
for giving us that tribute.
Oh man, go read all the draft grades from Sam at The Athletic. Go listen to the Game Theory podcast. If you didn't follow along with the live streams, you can listen to the podcast that's broken up. So if you're just wanting to listen to your team, you can actually go to the podcast feed and find where your team picked, and you can kind of listen to his analysis there. That's what I did earlier today.
You can listen to Sam finding out about the Pelicans trading up to 13, which I clipped and put on Blue Sky because I thought it was so funny.
It was a reaction.
It's all worth it. You should go listen to all of it. Check it out. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel at Game Theory as well. Anything else, Sam, that you'd like to promote before we get out of here?
No, I mean, just go to The Athletic, go to the Game Theory podcast, listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, obviously, which is where, we're doing well over there. So do all that stuff. That's great.
Yeah. Dude, thank you guys so much for listening to the Saturday Slam and Jam. We very much appreciate you guys. Leave us a 5-star review. We'll read it on the podcast. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking free agency, team building, all of that fun stuff. Be sure to tune in. And also, we'll be at Summer League this year. I'm finally dragging Alex to Summer League. And so we'll be doing Slam and Jam live in Vegas. So if you guys want to come hang out with us, we would love to see you guys in Las Vegas here in just a few weeks, sneaking up on us. So be sure to join us there. Hope you guys enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk to you guys again next week.